my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host, a very good friend, is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it's a Patreon pick, and it's our good friend Justin, and a massive supporter of the podcast. We do appreciate all your support, Justin. We're going back, Dave, to 1990. This is a gangster movie by the Coen Brothers, starring Gabriel Byrne, Albert Finney, John Turturro, Marcia Gay Harden, Steve Buscemi as well, Dave, in certain parts. This one is Miller's Crossing. So I know we talked about it briefly last week, and I think you said you'd not seen it, but do you remember when this came out or anything about the VHS cover, Dave?
Yeah, so very little exposure to this one, Chris. I just don't think this is my sort of movie. I mean, we've done Untouchables, haven't we? And I remember you really liked that one. I think I probably like that sort of gangster, this kind of Prohibition era. I like that one more because it basically had Sean Connery in it, probably, you know, so all fucking Ramirez or James Bond, you know, just that affiliation. I think I probably liked it a bit more for that reason. But something like this, I just would not have watched in 1990 or any of the times previous. And yeah, before people call me out, quite rightly probably, as a hypocrite, I was going about Reservoir Dogs. And for me, you know, in 92, that was kind of a bit of an awakening to a different sort of movie that, you know, I hadn't really been into before at all. So you could say, well, that's a gangster movie, but that was more quote unquote modern day. I know it's sort of set in the 50s and stuff, wasn't it? But I don't know, it's just something about this era where it's like, hey, what are you doing? See? What's the guy from Home Alone? I've been talking to snakes.
Oh, snakes! Yeah. You got to the count of 5. Yeah, no good.
Yeah, filthy animal. So it just does nothing for me at all. But I do remember this being a VHS box in the drama section back in the day. So you know, by the time they go, basically, if it's a new release, like, you get on the new releases wall, you know, it's all plastered over there. But once you're 6 months in, let's say, you go off. But if you're a shit movie, you don't survive making it to the whichever genre section it is. So the fact that this one was there told me this was quite popular. But yeah, just had no interest in it at all. I mean, how about yourself, Chris? Because you like some of these sort of gangster movies a bit more than me.
Yeah, so I think said last week, I've watched this once, definitely. I've rented it from Blockbuster or Titles, whichever one was local to us at the time. I think I watched it with my granddad as well, because I went through loads of these gangster movies, not just like The Godfather. Like say The Untouchables is one of my favourite. You know, I love The Untouchables, The Godfather, things like that. But then it was sort of like these B-style gangster movies. I'm not saying this is a B-style, but there's different ones about Lucky Luciano, like sort of not top tiers. You're not getting Al Pacino, but you're not also getting the Poundland, you know, mafia knockoff TV movies. So there was some good movies around this time, and I did go through a bit of a stage. And I remember this coming out and seeing the trailer and thinking, God, this is going to be really good. And then looking at the cast, and I think I didn't really know who Gabriel Byrne was at this time. Obviously, I know with like Unusual Suspects and things like that. They're usual suspects. Sorry, unusual. That's a different movie, Dave. I'm glad I've got the VPN working. That's a different movie. Sorry, I've been watching that.
If that was the porn parody of Usual Suspects.
Yeah. That stars Gabby Byrne, Dave, not Gabriel Byrne. But anyway,
getting hard on.
Yeah. Albert Finney, Dave. Albert Finney's called, Dave. He's got a cop like a Finn. But anyway. There's a different version. But I remember being quite intrigued by it, but always knowing on the trailer it was a bit slow, but it had that sort of, it always panned to the shot with him with the trilby on. walking in that like sort of forest, you know, with the gun and everything, and the music was very like Godfather, like very slow. But honestly, I had no idea what was going on in this movie. Now, like, from watching it again, I sort of remember certain bits of it, but the story was just completely overhead. I'm literally going into this as I've never seen it, but I know it got massive praise. I know, like, Rotten Tomatoes, 93%. It was like one of the movies that was a bit of a, for Gabriel Byrne, it really elevated him even more than where he was, you know, like through the 90s and that. He became like quite a big star. But I could never say to you, if someone said to me, your best gangster movies, yeah, Miller's Crossing. I just remember it being a good movie, you know. I'm only watching it once, but this time I'm not sure. I was thinking, is he going to have aged well? It's bloody, it's 35 years old, so it's a long time ago that this came out, and I just didn't know where we were going to sit with this. And obviously you've never seen it, and I know with a lot of the gangster stuff, some of it, like Godfather, never aged for me. I love it. I just absolutely love the Godfather series, but there is ones I've watched where you go, oh, it's not as good. So I was intrigued, David. Not Unusual Suspects or not Millie's Crossing, which I watched on a certain NordVPN thing.
Sign up to our VPN. The link is in the show notes.
Millie's Crossing with Gabby Byrne, Albert Fincock, everything. Anyway.
Oh dear. Let's put that slant on the trailer.
Oh, the trailer, Dave. Oh, yeah. Totally prepared for that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's an Irish connection, isn't it? So, you know, Jimmy O'Toole. Jimmy O Big Tool. Oh, dear. Well, on that note, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Yeah, let's go.
A city run by gangsters, a forest full of corpses, and more trilbies than a Peaky Blinders stag do. This is Miller's Crossing.
The Coen Brothers' stylishly gangster epic where the bullets are sharp, the dialogue's sharper, and the hats, well, the hats get more screen time than half the cast.
I'm glad you're using your Irish accent in context this time.
I know, I thought maybe it'd be better, wouldn't it?
Gabriel Byrne plays Tom Reagan, the smartest man in the room. Oh, to be fair, most of the room is full of gangsters who couldn't plan their way out of a paper bag.
Caught between rival cum bosses, I said they've definitely done VPN. Caught between rival crime bosses, Tom has to play both sides, juggle double crosses, and drink enough whiskey to drown an entire speakeasy.
Albert Finney stars as Leo.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
You're like a wet bandit, sir.
My boss.
Hey, Mark.
He fights off a hit squad with nothing but a Tommy gun and a cigar clenched in his teeth like it's an Olympic sport.
And John Turturro, in the role of Bernie Birnbaum, delivers 20 straight minutes of pleading for his life in the woods. Honestly, it's like watching an audition for Most Annoying Man in America. Doing all right with that, then?
Sort of wishing I'd put together a shorter trailer. It's a story of loyalty, betrayal, and what happens when you can't decide whether you're more scared of the mob or losing your favorite hat in a strong breeze.
Marvelous characters whisper menacingly things. I don't know what this accent is doing. In smoke-filled rooms, gasp as someone says, "What's the rumpus?" For the 12th time, I wonder why you need a corkboard and red string to follow who's killing who.
Mrs. Doyle, go on.
I'm a lucky leprechaun, Dave. It's all right. Oh, my granddad's from Belfast, Northern Ireland, not fucking Northern Ireland. What's going on?
It's noir, so convoluted, even the Coen Brothers probably had to Google their own plot halfway through it.
Miller's Crossing, the film that asks the big questions. Who runs a city? Who can you trust? And who does every man over 30 look like they've been sponsored by Hat World?
This isn't just a gangster film, it's a fashion statement. It's a riddle. It's a bloody long walk in the woods with John Turturro begging for mercy.
You went a bit Australian then, Dave.
Just hold on while I clean the spittle from my fucking laptop here.
On VHS, probably recorded in LP mode, so when you try to rewind, the tape starts faster than a mobster's kneecaps. This is Miller's Crossing.
In 1929, Tom Reagan is the right-hand man for Irish mobster Leo O'Bannon, a political boss who runs an unnamed US city during Prohibition. Leo sets off a mob war when he extends protection to his girlfriend Verna's brother, a bookie named Bernie Birnbaum, who is skimming off the match-fixing scheme of Leo's rival, the Italian gangster Johnny Casper. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I love the trailer, Dave, first. I've got to say, the trailer was magnificent put together. We both have lost our voices, but that was good, that. It's not a good movie for me, this one, Dave. This hasn't aged well at all. So we start off, what I really struggle with in this movie is how many times Gabriel Byrne's character, Tom O'Regan, he's not even O'Regan, Tom Regan, fucking gets beat up. It's literally every time he comes into contact. So I'm thinking, I haven't watched it for a year, like I said, when I watched it, I'm thinking he's a proper hard man. I'm thinking he's a psychopath, he can look after it, he's this right-hand man to this mobster. And we get this, interaction with Johnny Casper, Dave. What an Italian name that is, yeah. Italian gangster, Johnny Casper. I don't think that's really works, but there you go. And he's talking to him, and he's very, political in it, and the chatting and all this. And this, for me, there's just too much fucking dialogue. But every single scene, Gabriel Byrne is getting a shoe in from somebody. If it's not the Irish mobsters, it's the fucking mafia. And I'm like, I got bored of it about halfway through. It's like, oh, hang on. Someone's going to get hold of him and kick the shit out of him. I'm thinking, can you not fight back at all? He doesn't throw one punch, literally, in this whole movie, does it? Honestly, it frustrated the hell out of me. And I know it's a Coen Brothers movie and it's something different. And apparently, Dave, they actually turned down doing Batman 1989 for this movie. Whether that was a good choice, yes. But honestly, I don't think this has aged well at all. It's fucking rubbish in bits, and it's slow as anything. It's just under 2 hours, but it feels like we're watching a 3-hour movie. It is utter garbage in points, and I can't even understand why it's rated so highly, because Gabriel Byrne is good, but there's only so many times he can talk every scene saying the same fucking conversation. Honestly, absolute utter shit, this, Dave. I'm being honest.
Oh, dear me. So you've gone harder than I thought you would go on this one. I thought you might like this one a bit more than me, because I have to say I didn't particularly enjoy this. I can almost appreciate at the end what they were trying to do. So I think Tom, he gets beat up because he's not your typical hard man gangster, right? He's not, although they talk him up as if he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, they sort of talk. I think it's Leo who's talking him up as if he's this real hard man. But you're right, he doesn't fight back at all. He doesn't even almost protect himself. If someone's going in to punch him, and you can see it's got a postage stamp on it, they take ages. He doesn't even cover his head or anything, get his guard up, or there's nothing that convinces me at all about this that he is actually capable of fighting. But his superpower, I guess, is not how hard he is. It's the fact that you've got all these different threads, all these different characters, and so he's manipulating them all to get to his end goal. So I think I can see what they're trying to do, and I think by the time I got to the end of the movie, I was like, oh right, that's why I should have cared about all these people, but I just don't. And I know I like Gabriel Byrne's character in Usual Suspects, and I liked how they'd set him up, for at least a minute or something that he might be Kaiser Soze, but I think there's something about his performance as well that just doesn't buy me in. I don't see him as, particularly vulnerable. Or it's just like his whole performance is just so bland. I don't really believe, that he is this absolute mastermind, or he is this hard badass, or when he's getting beaten up, it almost feels like a stage play. I never really feel that he's getting beaten up and he's really taking punishment for this. And, I feel for the character. I don't know. It's maybe something how it's shot as well as the performance. But yeah, I never felt like he was in any peril at all.
No. And that's what I think I struggle with, is like, me, I love like a sort of a redemption arc in a movie.
Yeah,
most people do, where the hero is either, even stuff like, for an example, I know it's not one of my favourite films, but say like Kickboxer. So you've got like Kickboxer, his brother gets paralysed. You've got Tong Po, who's basically a movable object, but through training and skill and all that, he comes back, Donny Van Damme, and dicks him at the end and beats him. I don't like keep saying Dick Day, but anyway, it's one of them things where
check out NordVPN.
NordVPN. you want to enjoy yourself?
Or I'll plug you.
You got the counter 5. Oh my god! I was going to say something else, Dave. I'm not getting cancelled. Anyway, right. So, not yet. Anyway, I do think you're right. I felt like he sat there taking this punishment and getting a kick in all the time, and I'm waiting for the "I've had enough." Like when we've all been there, where unfortunately, hopefully nobody's been the bully, but you've had bullies who have singled you out, and you get to the point. Hopefully, no one's been bullied. Like
George
that.
McFly.
Yeah, George McFly, and then the person you think is like Nails or somebody, and you think, no, I'm not having it anymore. I don't care what happens, I'm not having it. And you stand up for yourself, and we've all been there in life. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It could be something where you're like, I'm not putting up with this anymore, and you have a walk away or whatever. And I get it, and I'm waiting for that moment. It felt like it was building all the time. Like that big guy, the Swede he was called, one of the big like gangster guy, and I'm thinking he's going to lever him in, he's going to like kneecap him, Tom's going to do something because he's this, and he just did nothing. He's just like, that's what I found bizarre. It was like, why in one scene are they all like mates or they're all helping each other, and the next scene he's getting thrown downstairs. And you're right, I just didn't care. By about the 10th time that he got punched, I was like, I've had enough now. Like, this is just ridiculous. Why are you still doing this? And it's not a case of keeping everyone happy, because I couldn't really work out what the plan was that he was trying to go for. He was trying to play both sides of the coin, but he didn't really get him anywhere. I mean, he didn't die, but you understand what I mean? Like the payoff didn't seem to be, as me, the viewer, I wasn't invested in his journey in the movie after so many times. It was almost like a comedy cartoon at times when he was getting beat up. I was like, I don't know what the point of this is at all.
Yes, I'm with you. And again, I think it's partially the performance. And look, it's very clever, but I just wonder, is it like too clever for its own good? I mean, again, just because we've mentioned it before, but you've got Gabriel Byrne in it. At the end of Usual Suspects, you've got that proper holy shit moment.
Yes.
And I feel like if you had that in this, it would. I would be retrospectively thinking back of the whole movie and how great it was, or even in like Sixth Sense, when you get to the end. And then it sort of gives you flashes of, replaying the little clues that you should have seen earlier in the movie. And I don't know, I agree. I don't feel like there was any particular payoff. And, obviously we're jumping all around, but, at the end when he'd obviously let Bernie go at one point, and I think, if anything, I'm saying Tom was in no peril, but even when he's being led out to the woods, because he's the main protagonist of the movie, I just don't feel like he is going to get killed. And then, he's about to get shot, and then it's like, oh no, look, there is this body over here. It's Bernie. Obviously, it wasn't. You could say, well, that was the bit when he should have been in peril, but no, he was just walking along, stoically looking, and then he throws up. And I guess that's part of like, oh, so he is nervous, but he doesn't actually show it. And then I guess the you know, holy shit moment could have been when he eventually kills Bernie at the end. But again, I just didn't really, it did nothing for me.
No, and I think you're right. The situation with Bernie, John Turturro's character, is strange because when they're walking him and it's a test in it, at this point in the movie, Tom was got beat up by, what's he called, the Irish mobster, by Leo O'Bannon. He's levered him at that like function. He's just punching him down the stairs. He's giving him a kick.
He's in love with Werner, isn't he?
His girlfriend and all that. And then he ostracizes him and says like, right, get out, you're done. And all this. So then he goes to, you know, Johnny Casper, who's the guy who's having the dialogue at the start, who O'Bannon, you know, basically says to him, I'm not going to let you kill Bernie, and asks for a job. So the first job is, right, go and get Bernie. We're going to kill him and put him in the woods. Yeah. And John Turturro, what I found really bizarre about that whole interaction was John Turturro's that character. He's pleading. He's upset. I won't, you know, the two henchmen, basically, instead of going with him to go, I'll tell you what, let's just see if he does it.
It's like Goldfinger or something in it.
Yeah. It's like he gets the gun and goes to shoot him, and he's pleading, I won't do anything, I promise you. Now, if someone's got a gun and you are on your knees about to die, and someone points a gun at your head and you're pleading, and they have a bout of conscience, and they say, you get the fuck out of here, I never want to see you again. I tell you what, Dave, I don't care who it is. If someone's doing that to me, you will never see me again. No. I will be nowhere near Manchester. I will be away. Lucky I'm alive, because if you've done it once, you can do it again. And knowing the payoff of Bernie or what could happen to Tom by doing this is ridiculous, because it's like within about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, Bernie's back threatening Tom. All he's done is slicked his hair down and looks a bit more menacing. So he's gone from this absolute cowardice shithouse who's like crying and pleading for his life to this stoic fucking hard man who's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And it's like, well, Tom wasn't the one you had a beef with, really. It was fucking Johnny Casper, who's the one who's asked for the kill. He's just testing Tom, and he saved your life. So why are you going at Tom? And that sort of found ridiculous. I mean, there was a plant of a body later on, wasn't there? They didn't think he'd done it. That Swede guy's giving him a kick in, and they go, there is actually a dismembered body there, isn't there, which he's a plant. But honestly, I felt like John Turturro's performance, that wasn't bad, but it was also like, what is the point? And you're right, what you've said. I think that's absolutely the way I feel is when Tom says he's going to let him go, you know it's going to come back on him. You know it's going to come back. That's the nature of the beast. He's never, you know, it's just going to happen. But it's the fact that I don't feel scared for Tom. I don't feel, I think you've absolutely nailed it. I think there's no jeopardy to what he's doing, because at the end of the day, he might get killed at the end. We've seen it in movies. He takes a bullet or something, the end, and it goes off the credits. But all the way through, I'm trying to work out what's going on. I think you've got a great diagram of what's going on. And even that is probably easier to follow than the movie. But watching it on the screen, there's too much stuff going on. Absolutely. So, as an example, I don't think you've watched this. We just finished watching, and I don't watch a lot of shows, if you know my attention span, terrible. What's the Department Q on Netflix? And it's a Scottish TV show. It's like a cop thing. It's like ostracized cop creates this sort of misfits of cops, and they're in the basement of this police station, and they go and investigate different crimes. So they end up with this crime that's like a missing woman who's been missing for 5 years, and they never found a body. So it's all unraveling and all this. But they introduce characters with no context in the. So he starts off really strong. I think it's 8 or 9 episodes. And these people just coming on, talking to the main characters, whether it's the baddies, the goodies, and there's no context who the fuck they are. And I'm looking at Sam going, I don't know what's going on. Who's this guy? I don't know. We watched it to the end, and it was, you know, they commissioned the second series, which I might watch, and maybe I'll understand it a bit more. But it wasn't just ADHD Chris going, I ain't got a fucking clue what's going on here. There's just random. This is what this feels like with this movie. It's like, what is everybody going for? And there's so many characters just appear that it's so difficult to understand the story of what Tom is in all this. If Tom at the end becomes the Kaiser Soze and becomes the gangster, and he runs everything, so he runs the Italian, the Irish mafia, he runs everything, and that's the play. Fantastic. but it's not the play. And the ending, I mean, I'm not jumping too far because I know these other bits to do, but the ending confused the hell out of me. Like, this is a very bizarre, it's a stylized movie, it's Coen Brothers, but for me, it's not something I can really get behind, not 35 years later.
Yeah, and I know you said you had watched it, but you didn't really remember it. Again, that tells its own story, doesn't it? The fact that you don't really remember it. Something like Usual Suspects, when we covered that, we said about, we've only watched it the once, but fuck me, everyone remembers that ending, and you almost don't have to watch it again because the rest of most of the movie's almost irrelevant because of the whole switcheroo at the end. I don't know how if I'd have sat down and watched this, I'd like to say it's just my bias is that I don't like this sort of movie. This Prohibition era just does nothing for me. But if I'd have persevered with it, I wonder, would I have been impressed? Would I have thought near the end? Because obviously things like Usual Suspects hadn't come out by this point. So would I have got to the end and thought, oh God, all the while, all through the movie, he's taking a beating, but actually he was just playing everyone off against each other. So, everyone just thinks he's the whipping boy, but actually he's the smartest guy in the room. I feel like there's a low probability, but I might have thought that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to enjoy this who probably feel that way. Like I say, he's underestimated, but actually he's going to end up running everything. I think that's what the end would be. But you're right. Just going back to what you were saying about Bernie, I mean, he'd gone from being a snivelling weasel, a guy who, basically he's the one who Casper's annoyed at because, if he fixes a fight, and for me, Casper, thinks that's the tremendously honourable side of gangsterdom, I guess.
Yeah.
But, because of what Bernie's doing, well, that's outrageous, so he needs to die. Funny, I don't know, perceptions about right and wrong there. But Bernie goes from this snivelling weasel and, like I say, slick back hair, and it's almost like a transformation like Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, isn't it? She's this nerdy woman who's trod down by life on everyone, falls out the window, gets licked by a few cats, and then she's this amazing gymnast Catwoman. It's almost that transformation, isn't it? But I know why they've written it that way, because they need to create another threat to Tom. This is another potential wild card. This is another thing for him to mentally manage. Okay, what do I do? Because he's come back and he's a bit of a threat now. He's sort of threatening me. So I've got fucking Casper to manage. I've got Leo. How do I? Werner. The old piece on the side. She's kind of there as well, and sort of managing all these threads. And how do I come out on top? But yeah, it makes no sense for Bernie to have that transformation. And it is a bit weird as well, isn't it? Again, mainly because of the stuff we've seen. We've done a few Totoro movies now, haven't we? We did Oh Brother, Where Art Thou on the late fees. We did, what was that slapstick one that was like the Three Stooges?
Oh my God, the one from the 90s. We only did that about 6 months ago, didn't we? Oh yeah, that wasn't a good movie at all. I think he was in it, wasn't he? Fred Elliott of Corrie.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ashley wasn't in, but I think
Fred. Yeah, he was. I
think Ashley was you. Fred Elliott was in it.
Anyway, let's move on from that terrible impression, Dave. I got roasted last time. No, but I think, and I'm calling the fucking henchman the Swede. He's called the Dane, innit? Fucking bellend. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Davies. That's got Eddie Dane, the Dane. But the body as well.
I can't remember. I was trying to
Swede.
The Pole or something like that.
Yeah, it was a good name in that. But so the body is Steve Buscemi, innit? His lover, that's who it is. Dane's obviously gay, and it's his lover. So that's who the dead body is that's killed, the decomposed body. And obviously Bernie sort of Bernie's one who's killed him, put it as a decoy because you know what's going. So that's where the whole thing unravels. But Dave, I'm saying that like I could see that visually on the screen, but that's exactly what happened because I did have to look on Google before we talked to see what that all meant and stuff. So I think then though, Tom does do a bit of shit steering, doesn't he, with Casper? Because obviously Dane's giving him a kicking, and then Casper just levers him, doesn't he, and kills him and stuff. You know, It's bizarre how that works. So so you're right about Tom being the cleverest man in the room and knowing how to manipulate these people because they're all power hungry, aren't they? I think that supposedly sort of symbolises the two characters. But what I found utterly ridiculous. He's obviously Bernie's the one who kills Casper then, you know, after all this, but it's not that. It's the fact that he ends up talking to Leo at the funeral and walks off with him. You know what I mean? Tom's killed Bernie, they're at Bernie's funeral, that's the whole point in there, but it's like, well, this guy ostracized and he's like, yeah, do you want to come back in?
He wants him back though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like, yeah, do you want to come back in the gang? Yeah, I'll give you a kicking because you like me missus, but you know what? Doesn't matter. And obviously she blanks him then, doesn't she, as well? She blanks Tom because they've had a bit of a love affair through the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like she's with Casper now. It's like, leave me alone. But that end bit, I don't know, that was some art house bullshit for me. He puts the hat on, and as he's walking, Leo, I thought he's going to shoot me in the back here. And as he's going further away, I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to have to be a dead shot with that pea shooter he's got, that 6-shooter he's got. And he doesn't. And that's the end of the movie. And I'm like, what was the point of this whole story? Because Tom's no better off, really. He just offers him his job back. I didn't get it.
So he's back exactly where he started.
Exactly. Yeah, but with a few more bruises.
I mean, I'm assuming this isn't a stitch-up because it is such a widely, you know, such a highly regarded movie. But again, I'm in a way, I'd have preferred if you liked it and you could counter my dislike of it. But it sounds like we both didn't really enjoy this one. That's not because it's a really bad movie. It just, I guess it is about the aging of it. I think there are movies like this that, you know, where people manipulate other people, and I just think other movies have done it better.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think it's to do with the cast as well. I mean, Albert Video, I know he's a massive actor and everything. And Steve Buscemi, at that point, he was doing different movies. One of this was before, obviously, Reservoir Dogs, which proper excels where he was, Gabriel Byrne. But I don't think the cast is as strong. It's like they're missing something or someone to deliver. I'm not sure if Gabriel Byrne is the right man for the lead in this. In Usual Suspects, Dave, not the unusual suspects with Gabby Byrne, but he is good in that. He is good. It's him and Kevin Spacey are the two leads, aren't they, really? You know, he is the lead, really. But in this, no, he just misses the mark, and I don't know what. It was like they watched The Godfather and we're trying to just bring something in, but then, like you said about the Untouchables, these elements of Untouchables, these elements of different gangster movies, but it's just off, unfortunately, and it isn't a bad movie. I can see maybe just absolutely loves it, but for me, it's just a miss, I think.
And I think, you know, Gabriel Byrne, obviously he is actually Irish, but I couldn't follow his accent as well. It's as off as ours, you know, when we get the silly trailers and stuff. Like sometimes he came across really Irish, and then other times just very American. And you know, again, like Michael Fassbender at the end of X-Men First Class, where it suddenly goes super Irish, and then it's like, oh, where's that from? You were, you know, like Patrick Stewart before. So yeah, I don't think Gabriel Byrne is a strong lead either. I think he just doesn't convey what I think the Coen Brothers probably wanted him to convey. I'd say that. I mean, they must have been happy with him at the time. But I don't know. I think the stoic way that, like I say, the way he takes a beating, even when, because you had Mike Starr there, didn't you? And again, I'm afraid I can't see him without thinking Dumb and Dumber. He's just a hitman from Dumb and Dumber. But, you know, he's in there and, you know, he sort of gives him a crack with the chair, and then he runs off, and then I think that's when he brings the Dane back, isn't it, to give him a kick in. But he's sort of there with the chair. And again, I think, a different actor could convey, or maybe it's the shot, but I don't feel like he's really threatened there. You know, like he's really shitting himself. He's like, oh, I'm going to take a fucking paste in here, you know, and maybe a close-up, a fucking bead of sweat going down his face or something like that. But again, it's just this middling stoicness to everything. And I think ultimately that's just why I just didn't really ever get sucked into his peril at all. And yeah, so when things played out, they just sort of played out.
Yeah, no, I agree. So shall we get into our scores, Dave?
Let's go.
So, Justin, I apologise if this is one of your favourite movies ever. I do apologise, but it just wasn't for me. I just didn't feel it hit. I didn't feel like I really cared about like Tom Regan or O'Regan or whatever his name is. His journey. I think it's clever. I think the plot, though, is really hard to follow. And the fact that Tom is just every scene getting a good kick in, I've never seen anything like it. And he just doesn't do anything until like a couple of bits at the end. But by then I'm like, you're getting on my nerves here. Just fight back, for God's sake. And he doesn't. And I think there's an opportunity there. He could have run everything and that's what I think the movie should have gone towards. That he's took his beatings. He's played the game. He's played everyone off. Everyone's killed each other. He's the last man standing. I'd have gone with that completely. Wearing the trilby, walking off. Well, the fact that he ends up where he started is just ridiculous. And he's lost this love of his life as well. So I've got to send it to Alderaan, Dave. I'm sorry. Even Empire, Andy Warhol last week was better than this. And that's
fuck off. 8 hours of a building.
Yeah, that's just a building in New York.
How do you rate the Empire State Building's performance against Gabriel Byrne's?
Well, I'm not being funny, Dave. If the Empire State Building had took over the O'Bannon fucking crime family, then I've probably gone with it more than this.
At least
so,
the
yeah,
light
Alderaan
on and off and stuff.
Well, that's true, Dave. That's true. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on with this, but it's just not for me. So, yeah, it's a shocker. Absolute shocker. But it's not the worst film ever, Dave, though, let's be honest, but it's utter garbage. So, what about yourself?
Well, I'm going to caveat, because I surprised you sent it right to the bottom there. I will watch this again, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just... didn't grab me. I went in completely not knowing anything about this movie at all, and flashes up straight away. It's like, okay, we're in the Prohibition era, fair enough, gangster movie. And the way it opens with Casper as well, I feel like I should be pulled into it. I like that kind of almost interview, talking heads thing, someone talking right at the camera there. But again, I just had no idea what he was talking about. Obviously, he's talking about fixing boxing matches and whatever, and the odds and what have you. But I think probably because I know I've watched it now, I feel like if I watched it a second time, I might feel differently about it. But having watched it for the first time, it just didn't grab me at all. I think that it's intentionally set up to have multiple threads, so it's not just a simple A goes to B goes C. You've got multiple storylines going on, if you like, and then it comes together at the end where Tom, has obviously been playing people off against each other, and he is probably the smartest out of the lot. But going through, I just don't feel like the performances told me that at all, and I just didn't care. We've spoke about it a few times already, but the fact that he was never really in any sort of danger, or even though technically, he was, he could have been killed multiple times, I didn't feel like he was in any real danger. Something was always going to happen. So, yeah, I think it's an Elm Street for me. It just didn't grab me at all, but I do think part of that is my own bias, that I don't like gangster movies as such, as a rule of thumb. But but I do think the performances as well. I don't think they were great. I don't think Gabriel Byrne was the right choice for this. He might have been in 1990, but rewatching it now in 2025, I expect more from the leading man in this sort of movie. So yeah, Elm Street for me.
Well, Dave, I've said this to Alderon. Well, next week, it's our good friend Helen, Dave, who has picked
Fucking hell.
a horror movie from the year 2000. It's rated at 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb, Dave. I have never heard of this, and I am not happy about this, having looked in the diary. This one stars... it's directed by Matt Hall. Don't know who he is. I don't even know who it stars, but we are going to be covering, Dave, the 2000 Mr. Ice Cream Man. So I'm not going to say let us into the trailer because we don't do that. All I'm going to say is I cannot wait for next week, Dave. There's no irony in that at all. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I don't know if there would be a trailer.
No, I don't think there is, to be fair.
Next week there will be, but obviously when this episode goes on general release, it will be the 1st of October, Chris. So this is more of the scary movie type. So in Halloween season, if you like. So this will kick us off nicely, or well, it'll kick us off, and then we'll have a few more scary movies through October as well.
Yes, 100%. And when this releases, David, I will be in my favourite place in the whole wide world. So that's what's even better. I will be gambling and drinking my life away for a week, Dave, and then come back and be depressed because I'm not in Las Vegas. But anyway, for that moment, I will be happy, my friend, when this releases. I'll be listening to this round the pool. Amazing stuff. But no, I am looking forward to it because it's always good fun, these sort of things, especially being a horror movie, me being a shithouse, Dave. I'm definitely watching this in the daytime. So thanks for that, Helen. And I'm not telling Sam that we're going to be covering a horror movie, Dave, because she will definitely want to watch it at night when it's dark and that. We're not doing that.
I've had a sneaky peek. I don't think you're in any danger. I think even you might be able to watch this one in the...
What a coward I am. 6'2", 46-year-old man coward. Well, there you go. Anyway, thank you so much, Justin, and thank you, Helen, for next week. So looking forward to that. If you do want to support us, please get up to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media at VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honour, and a big thank you to Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Tim, Matt, Hales, Ken, Lucky Luna Green, Herbs, Jack, Math Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys. Amazing stuff. We all know that me and Dave love a good horror movie. I'm looking forward to this one, to be fair, because if it's at 3.2, and it is available on YouTube for anybody who's not seen it, get over there before next week, because I can't wait to talk about it.
Very good, Chris. So for our outro kind of little musical number, it was a fairly simple jump, really. So this is a film by the Coen Brothers. I thought, well, Leonard Cohen wrote a few songs, of which probably my favourite one is Hallelujah. But my favourite version is not by Leonard Cohen, it's by Jeff Buckley. So I was thinking, right, okay, let's get into that headspace. Again, a little bit like I did with The Eye of the Tiger and The Room is on Fire. I've kind of gone with, really quite deliberately similar lyrics and stuff. But this one is simply called Miller's Crossing.
For all that build up, yeah. Miller's Crossing. Original, that one, Dave.
Occam's razor. The simplest answer is the right answer.
That's true.
Quite somber with Empire last week as well.
I like the hat, Dave.
Yeah, it's a good image, isn't it?
Yeah, not good for a podcast, but it is good for
The hats play a big role in the lyrics.
Drifted through the woods like that, but you don't really care for gangsters, do you? Goes like this, the deal, the twist, the double cross, the hat you miss. Don't know that the road's the Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Faith was strong, but your hand was weak. You played both sides, you could not speak of every crooked debt they put right through you. The whiskey glass, the pistol cocked, the pine trees whisper what you've lost. The hat drips on, it rolls through Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Maybe there's a God above, but all I learned from lies and love was how to beg for life before they shoot you. It's not a cry you hear at night. It's not a man who dies in despite. It's someone cold and gone at Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing.
Good tune, Dave. Nice.
It's really, again, it's quite somber, isn't it? But, as you put these things together, because you listen to it so much over and over, you tweak bits. It's actually really bit of an earworm, or for me at least.
That's good tune, yeah.
Been repeating back on me.
Yeah, I like that. That's in a dark room, contemplating life, Dave, just chilling. That's what you want.
Fucking hell, if you, just had a divorce or something, you sat in a darkened room and fucking probably not the right tune maybe for that one, but yeah.
Well, it might be for some, Dave. It could be a fucking happy place. You never know.
Again, if you need a VPN for any reason at all, check out our show notes. We do have NordVPN. It's just an affiliate link we've got there. Helps out the show a little bit. But Chris, thank you very much. Justin, I apologise if it is one of your favourite movies, but call them how we see them. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I'll see you in 6 months. I must break